And we are live. Hi, we're taking place in the backseat of my car today because I want to do a landscape view for y'all, and I can't really do that in my front seat. Also, if you can't tell, we have mics. Audio is going to be so good. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Let's get comfortable. Okay, not that comfortable. First of all, I just want to start off and say that I'm letting the dogs out. This is my car and my podcast. I can have my dogs out, okay? You can't see them, but they're out, which is good. I also think I need to turn the AC up because it's hot. Okay, week 2 is gonna be all about you. Week 1 was me, and week 2 is you. So today, you saw my dogs. So today is let me get comfortable here. So I think one thing that I really kind of just wanted to touch on right off the rip was, before we get into you, we're going to talk about me. No, one thing that I really wanted to touch on was how nerve-wracking it was for me to want to start this podcast and really put myself out there online in such an explicit and vulnerable way. I've never done this before. I have had many intellectual conversations with my friends. I've had very deep conversations with my friends, but I feel like that's such an intimate setting with like one or two people that you trust, and it's so easy to express yourself when you're comfortable. And obviously, I'm in the back of my car. I'm very comfortable physically, but I'm still well aware of the fact that this is going to be broadcasted to, I'm uploading it to YouTube, so anyone that wants to watch it can watch it, which I welcome everybody to watch it, and I hope that everybody does. That's the goal of this. But I think that it's just nerve-wracking doing anything creative that might go against the grain of normalcy. I think that whenever, say, you're a painter, and a singer, you're a musician, you're a podcaster, or you're an actor, anything that puts you in a spotlight for someone to judge you and what you create is a very intimidating feeling, and it's daunting, and you're opening yourself up to so much judgment. So as confident as I feel like I may be in my day-to-day life, this is a very new feeling. And what I kind of touched base with you guys last week on is that fear is it's just telling you that you're doing something new that you've never done before, and your body just doesn't have a reaction to this emotion yet. And once you go through it, it will, like, you will adapt and you will learn. And I know that through the weeks, even just watching this last episode back, I saw how comfortable I was able to get just within that time frame of the episode. So this is something that's going to be evolving, and you guys are going to watch me evolve with it, which I think is going to be a really cool experience for not only you, but for also myself, to be able to watch myself back and see all of the growth that I'm doing through this podcast. And so there's some magic in that. Without further ado, though, let's get into you guys. So I touched base on how daunting this was for me, and I think where that leads to you is, if you're passionate about something and you're kind of questioning or fumbling, or you're getting cold feet on pulling the trigger and doing it, I have only like the utmost respect and encouragement for you to do it. The only way to fail in doing something is by not trying. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't try, you'll never know what could have happened. And that's kind of why I just full sent this podcast. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how to work Spotify. I don't know how to just pull the audio from this to make it a podcast. That's why this feels like a Y2K vlog. My point being is that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a professional in this. And you have to show yourself some grace, because no one's a professional. Everyone just picked something up for the first time and was like, I really like doing this. Let me continue doing this. And that's the only way you can get good at something, is just repetition and practice. You've heard it since you were a kid. Practice makes perfect. So truly, through this whole experience, you guys are going to evolve with me. So show me some grace in this process as well. If there's something heavy on your heart to do, I only implore you to explore what exactly it is. I implore you to explore the intention behind why you want to do it. I think your why is incredibly important for your passion to show through in anything that you do. If I was going to do this podcast, I only wanted to do this podcast because I wanted to sit here, look at myself in a camera, and hear myself talk. That might slightly be it. We're not going to tell anybody that. No, I'm just kidding. You would just see me dolled up every week, and it would just be very different. But I think that I'm coming at you with a level of vulnerability and intention. I know why I'm doing this, and I know exactly what it is that I want to get out of this. So know your why as to why you're doing something and what your intention is behind it, because that's when your passion gets through to someone, and then they're going to hear you and they're going to be like, wow, she's really passionate about that. Or he is so good at painting and he's so passionate about it. He's so confident in the work that he puts out. There's something so beautiful in that. And then no one can judge that and no one can take that away from you, because that's your God-given right to express yourself and to do something that feels so explicitly natural to you. And who is anybody to take that away from you? So I just think that it's so important, and I'm reading my note because I wrote it earlier. I said expressing yourself uniquely and confidently without fear of judgment. And unique is such a big word because we all have different unique talents that are specific to us. And hone in on yours. And if you're scared to tap into that, please, please, please let me lead the way, and let me and my failures only inspire you to do it as well, because at least we'll be going through it at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm also training to be a personal trainer, and I've only ever trained in my life, So I don't have any experience telling someone else what to do, and that's why I'm learning how to do it. But when I start that and I get my certification on that, I'm not going to know what I'm doing. And that's going to involve a lot of patience from the people that I'm coaching. This involves a lot of patience from you guys to be malleable with me and allow this whole transition to go smoothly. My point being, show yourself some grace in anything that you do. You may fumble, you may mess up, but there's no failure in fumbling. Like, it's okay if you fumble something. It only means that you're trying and you didn't get it your first time. Get up, try again. If you fumble again, that's fine. Just keep getting up, keep trying again, because one time you're gonna get it, it's gonna stick, and that's when it's gonna take off, and that's when you're gonna have your light bulb moment and be like, oh, this is why I kept going. This is why I didn't stop. Look where I am now. Look where I started. And I've still got so far to go. And that is so cool. Be bold. Be bold in your life. Take up space. Don't shrink back into the confinements and the boxes that we all seem to put ourselves in. There's this whole stigma. And when we were kids, it was never weird to express ourselves. I was in the talent show as a kid. I was in the talent show. I danced to Barbie, and I then sang. But for the Barbie show, I crimped my hair, and I will put in a picture. Like, that's how I got on stage. But I was in effing fifth grade. Like, I didn't know. I thought it was so cool. I was like, oh my God, I crimped my hair. Who else is doing this? I'm the coolest person ever. Whereas, like, I look back and it's like, yeah, sure. If I did that now, like crimped my hair, I'm not talking beach waver, guys. I'm talking zigzags, like harsh 45-degree angles in my hair. If I did that now, I'd be getting looks left and right, but I didn't even care when I was a kid. And so I think also, like, there is a flip that switches, and I do think it's our exposure to social media, and it's our immediate exposure to so many people's opinions constantly. Every single day we open our phone and we, without even realizing it, the first thing that comes up, it quite literally doesn't matter what it could be. It could be someone like shoveling hay. I don't know why that came to my brain. We're going to run with it though, because there's a reason why that came to my brain. It could be someone shoveling hay and you're immediately comparing yourself to that person because maybe you don't think that you're strong enough to shovel as much hay as they are. Or maybe while they're shoveling hay, they look better than you would when you're shoveling hay. Maybe their hay is greener than yours. I don't know. I'm going to lay off the hay hey comparison, but I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. That we open our phones and we're constantly seeing just a flood of things. We see girls and guys that are in the gym who just have like these the most aesthetically pleasing gym bodies. They're chiseled. They look like they've been doing this since they were out of the womb. They were squat pressing a plate. Like it's just and it's so and yes, there is something to be said. These people work their little butts, not their little butts, because they're all huge. Everyone's got a big butt. White girls of America nowadays have got the biggest butts ever, I swear. I don't know what's going on. They're working their big butts off. Everyone's got a BBL now. They're working hard for that image, and there is a line I feel like that's crossed sometimes with social media and all of these like edits that you see in the gym. You see these reels and these videos of these people and they're perfectly done and their exposure is so perfect that you can see every single ab and every striation of their muscle, and somehow they are like squatting two plates and you don't see a glisten of sweat on them. It's just a very glorified image and glamorized image of what the actual product is. And I'm gearing this more towards fitness because that's just immediately what's in my life, but that's so everything day to day. My feed is also filled with poems and poetry, so if you're someone that's a big poet or a writer or someone that maybe feels like they're lacking in creativity, you're going to judge yourself against someone and their work that's out. Or if you're a singer, oh my gosh, like my feed is full of these, especially living in Nashville. I feel like my feed is full of these like small town growing artists, all incredible artists, but I could only imagine being an artist, how daunting that is, especially being a songwriter. Like it's like a rat race to who can produce what song first. So it's hard. You're gonna fumble, you're gonna compare yourself, but I think at the end of the day, what is important to note is that you're at least trying. You're putting yourself out there, you're putting yourself into something uncomfortable, and you're growing from that. And that is so special. That's so cool. There's that word again. So keep doing it, keep with it, and just keep going on and following this passion, because eventually something's going to click into place. Because if it is your true passion, it is your true dream, if what you're doing and you're so convicted in what you're doing because there's a reason why you're doing it, that reason will present itself. And I promise, like, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm not going to keep doing this podcast in the back seat of my car, which if you know me, you know I want to run this car off a bridge. Jenny, love you, girl, but I will not be with this car forever. Don't tell her. She's always listening. Like I will grow in this area, and in my personal training I'm going to grow in that. And cuz you can't think small picture. If I had just thought and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to make this podcast and the only people that are going to listen are maybe like two people," then you know what? Maybe two people are going to be the only ones to, like, listen, because they can sense that negativity. They sense your lack of confidence. And no one a leader is not insecure and doubtful in themselves. That's I just said the same thing twice. Guys, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure I was going to record today, but here I am. Be a leader in your own life, and you leading probably will inspire a lot of other people to also take that step to do something they're passionate about. That's really what my goal is with all of this. I'm trying to put myself out there in a way that seems like I could just fall flat on my face because I could, but hopefully that vulnerability with you guys inspires some of you guys to take a leap of faith on yourself. And if you've been holding back on something that you've been wanting to do, I really hope that this inspires you to do that and explore what that might be and what that might mean for you. And there's also no wrong way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this right now, and I could wake up in 5 weeks and be like, I actually hate podcasting. What was that little stint in my life? And that's completely fine. Just like anyone, like you could be an artist or a musician or a painter. You can be a regular, not your average Joe. You know what I mean? And just be going through life. And I touched base on this last time. You're entitled to change. You're entitled to changing your mind. That's so important. I feel like that sometimes we don't give ourselves the grace to change our mind because we've maybe said something. I've gone so public with this podcast. I've promoted it on my personal page. I've told people in my day-to-day life, hey, go follow my podcast. I launched my podcast. I say it with so much confidence, as if I'm freaking Alex Cooper, you know what I mean? And I have a whole network. But if I don't start with that confidence, then where am I ever going to get it from? You know what I mean? I'm going to get it when, like, is there a numerical value of followers that I'm going to get that confidence from? Is there a dollar sign that I'm going to start feeling confident? Like, no, I don't think so. In my opinion, at least, I think that if you start with the confidence that you're going to make it somewhere and have pride. Pride is so important. That's such a great word. Have pride in what you're doing and like want to share it and give it to others because you're so confident in it and it comes from you and comes from your heart and you're so passionate about it that like there's no way that can fail. And I think I was talking about changing your mind. There's no issue with changing your mind, especially if you're confident about it. And I think if because I put this out there so publicly for people to see it, like passenger city pod, da 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 da. And then in 5 weeks, if I like make a post and I'm like, all right, cool, that was it. I'm taking the page down. This isn't for me. Yeah, sure. I mean, I know that I could be this like the center focus of some judgment, being like, oh, this girl really like she really quit on that one. But you know what? At the end of the day, you kind of just have to like take a step back, breathe, just understand that you tried it, you didn't like it, and that's okay. You are welcome to change your mind. I really don't think that's going to happen with me, but it's okay if it happens. I'm trying to think of a time that I changed my mind in my life. Oh my God. Anytime I move somewhere. Gracie, when did you change your mind? I don't know. Maybe the 4 states that I've lived in. Changing your mind's completely okay. For example, actually, when I moved to North Carolina, when I moved to Nashville, I went back to San Diego after like 2 weeks, bawling my eyes out. I went on a whim flight and I was like bawling my eyes out, saying how I didn't want to stay here. I wanted to go back to San Diego. And I had changed my mind. I was 100% moving back to San Diego. Went back to Nashville. I was here in Nashville. Let's say I think that was in February. I was here in here in Nashville from February then till middle of June, so 4 months, 4.5 months, and then hit a rock bottom point again and went back to San Diego. I posted on my Instagram story, hey guys, I've officially made the decision. I'm leaving Nashville. I'm coming back to San Diego. I was reaching out to people for apartments. I was reaching out to people to take over my room here in Nashville. And I made it so very public that I was coming back to San Diego. And then I came back to Nashville in the middle of July. And for a number of reasons that we don't have to get into now, I ended up staying in Nashville here. I'm still here. And I actually really like it now. So I mean, personally, I changed some things, but ultimately I changed my mind. And what had happened is I went so public with the fact that I was moving from Nashville. I hated it. Everybody knew. Everybody knew I didn't like Nashville, and I was not shy about saying how much I didn't care for Nashville at the time. If you wanted to know why I wanted to leave, I was explicitly honest with you. And I know some people might be watching this and be like, facts. I ripped into Nashville. But I think it all comes from a place of love for San Diego. We can flip that into a positive script there. But I changed my mind. And then I got back to Nashville and I literally felt like the boy who cried wolf because I said I was going to do something. I made it so public and then I changed my mind. But I didn't change my mind to stay here for anyone other than myself. You know what I mean? Like I made the decision to stay for me. So it was my decision and my right to change my mind. And sure, I had people asking, like, I thought you were coming back. Where, like, when are you coming back? And I realized, like, after enough people had asked me, all it takes is me to say I'm happy right now. Because that's all that really matters at the end of the day. If you're happy and if you can fall asleep at night knowing that what you're doing is fulfilling you, who are you really answering to? You just got to answer to yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you got to live with yourself. So change your mind. Change your mind 1,000 times. Fall, fumble, try something new, and fall on your face doing it publicly. Embarrassment is so good. We all need to embarrass ourselves in public. We need to quite literally trip and fall. And I know that's like to some people, this social anxiety. You're like, fall on my face in public. Yeah. And we've all done it. Don't sit there. Don't even sit there and act like you've never fallen on your face in public or you've gone out. Oh my gosh, I have. Why do you think I'm sober now? Oh my gosh, I've made a fool out of myself time and time again. Oh my goodness. So many times I've made a fool of myself publicly. And I think that embarrassing yourself enough, I feel like shame and guilt and embarrassment are all three very different words that are unfortunately used interchangeably too often. I think that shame, and this also goes, this is biblical too. Shame is something about you that you don't think that you can change. It is something that is inherently yourself that you believe you're under the impression it will never change. I believe, and in my interpretation, is that guilt is something that you've done that you've changed from, and you look back and you're guilty about once doing that. You have an outside, more of like an outside looking in perspective on it. Like, okay, let's run with this example. You, I'm coming up with some wild examples, y'all, so just bear with me. If you're a kid and you want to steal a cookie from the cookie jar, shame would be, and you get caught, right? So hands in the cookie jar, mom comes around the corner, you're frozen in fear, your mom rats you out, you get grounded, you know? So I think shame would be you sitting in that room saying to yourself, I'm a thief, I'm a bad person, that's who I am, and I can't change that about me. That's shame. I think that guilt would be, I was a bad person, I was a thief, and now I'm feeling really convicted about that, and I'm guilty of that. But I recognize that I can still change from that. But just because I can change doesn't mean I, I can still feel guilt about what I had done. And then embarrassment, I think that in the moment of getting caught, you're embarrassed because you're caught. It's a moment where you're so caught off guard that you're doing something that isn't normal. It's not right. It feels uncomfortable. And so that's embarrassment. And I think those three words get thrown around too often, and there's definitions that there's a gray area, between the three of them, and that's okay. But I'm here to set the record straight. No, I'm not Merriam-Webster. So you do your own digging on that one, but that's my 2 cents on that. Embarrassing yourselves, I think, is so important because I think that it also hardens your shell to understanding that no one gives a freaking flying FUCK what you're doing. Really though, like honestly, in public, people are so self-absorbed and they're so worried about if what they're doing is socially acceptable that 97, I'll give like a 3% cushion. 97% of the time they are not paying attention to you. I experience this in the gym all the time. Actually, I was just working out with a friend and we were doing walking lunges in the gym, and we were doing it from the back of the gym through the whole gym to the front desk of the gym, which if you go to Carbon, which is my gym, that's quite literally in the middle of where everybody is. And I'm just doing walking lunges, which is like not the right place to do it. In the gym, you're like, I'm going to do walking lunges. I should be on the turf, or I should be in like a little confined area. I was doing it right out in the open. And initially I was like, I'm not doing that. That's embarrassing. And then I like thought about it and I was like, who the fuck cares? Why does anybody care if I'm lunging down the middle of the gym? That's what I want to do. And I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not hindering anybody. I wasn't in anybody's way. I made sure of that. And as I'm like doing it, I'm laughing to myself because I'm like I'm realizing how maybe embarrassing it could be to the one person that's paying attention, but then I'm looking up and people are just working out and they're so caught up in like their own routine. They don't even care. And if they do, they look over and they're like, "Ha, that's so funny. They're lunging through the gym. What kind of weirdos are they?" You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to embarrass yourself, but I think that I really grew in that moment because I was like, oh, like, okay, I can embarrass myself. Who cares? Like, at the end of the day, what are they going to say? What is someone going to say about that you're like, oh, I really shouldn't have done that? There's nothing someone's going to say. You lunged in the middle of the gym? Yeah, buddy, hit a leg day. Get off the chest press. My gosh. But like, show yourself some grace. You know what I mean? Like, try something new, embarrass yourself, get comfortable with embarrassing yourself. Because I mean, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you're not going to get through life without embarrassing yourself. I'm the queen of embarrassing myself. I always say things that are wrong or I'll like go and like try to make a joke and I'll completely stutter and fumble my words. And then, that's the most embarrassing thing ever, because it's like, okay, well, if you're going to come at me with some witty comment, at least be able to get it out of your mouth. I also think that it's really important to touch base on the fact that embarrassing yourself is something that I do, something that you do, your neighbor does, your mom does, your dog does. Like, I'm sure your dog feels emotion, so maybe it's embarrassing itself. Embarrassment is something that we all go through. It is an emotion that we all have. Because we all go through it, I'm not sure how maybe your perception works with the world, but something that helps me is like, okay, I did walking lunges through the gym. That's embarrassing. I can probably guess out of, I don't even know how many people we have on this planet anymore. I feel like back when I checked in like 2013, it was like 7 billion. I don't know what it's at now. Out of everybody on this planet, I can promise you, I can almost guarantee you, without any kind of supporting facts, that somebody else on this planet has felt embarrassment from doing walking lunges through their gym. Like, without a shadow of a doubt. Like 100%, actually. I know that that is true, and that kind of just like settles my fear and embarrassment. And so if the next time you want to try something and you feel embarrassed, or you went out and you said something you probably shouldn't have, and or you go out and you drink and you wake up the next morning and you have anxiety, think about the fact that you aren't the only one that's ever experienced anxiety. We have all been there. We have all thought those really intrusive thoughts that whatever we said was so bad that we're not going to have any friends anymore. And the reality is that you probably said you want a McDonald's. So, and you might have disagreed with someone about which McDonald's or which like burger they got compared to what you're going to get. It's so also so minute in the grand scheme of your life. But what it really boils down to is that you are not the only one that's ever felt embarrassment. I think also something really important to add to that while we're on the topic is trauma and shame. I'm leaving shame out of this because I really want to drive the point home that we misuse the word shame. So I'm just going to tap on trauma. I think that when we go through something traumatic, and I'll use myself as an example, I think I can say this. I think I can say this. I can say this. I was in a relationship that caused me a lot of trauma, and I thought that there was no way that anyone would ever understand what I was going through. And obviously, that's wrong. I'm here to tell you that people have, and I'm not denouncing anybody's trauma. I'm getting close to the camera because I really want to make my point here. Our trauma is uniquely ours. We are a victim of our trauma. We are not our trauma. And my point that I really want to drive home here, and I'm not trying to say this in a way that minimizes the trauma that you went through, I'm hopefully trying to get across to you, there is somebody else in this world that has gone through the exact scenario, unfortunately, the exact scenario that you've gone through. And there's somebody on this planet that is going through or has gone, depending on your situation, every single emotion that you're going through or had gone through at that time. I'm not saying at the exact same time, although that'd be really cool, knowing that someone at the exact same time is crying about the exact same situation. That's a very humbling feeling, but also like, shout out, shoddy, I'm so sorry. But somebody else on this planet is going through the same exact thing or has gone through the same exact thing as you. And I know that maybe a sense of, to some people, I know like feeling small on this world maybe gives them anxiety, but to me, I feel like the feeling of familiarity and kind of unification, we'll run with that, with someone else over a similar topic kind of brings me a sense, a feeling of peace and calm, knowing that I'm not alone. I'm not the first person to ever feel these emotions. I'm not the first person to ever go through this trauma. Someone has gone through it before and they have come out of it better. I can tell you that. You are not alone. There are people that will help you. if you are going through something and you're watching this, please reach out to me. Depending on what you're going through and how comfortable you are sharing with me, I promise I am my door. Sure, we'll use a door reference. My phone, my number, I'll post my email if you want it. We can get some sort of source of communication. I will figure out maybe how to do it anonymously. If you want to talk to me about something, I might not have all the answers, and I might not know exactly what you're going through, and I might not be able to relate to what you're going through, but I will show you the utmost empathy, the utmost compassion, and I will look for a source for you that might bring some peace to your brain. I promise. Everybody that's watching this, I promise that I am here for you. And you can come to me with anything that you want. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I know I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I'm not a therapist, but I am a friend. And every one of you that's watching this followed me because you were a friend to me. The least I can do is repay that, to be a friend to you. We can now back off of that. I think my whole overarching point to that is you are not alone in anything that you do. You embarrass yourself. People embarrass themselves every single day. People are victims of trauma every single day. And I mean, the odds are with you on the fact that someone else has gone through the exact same thing that you've gone through. So have some peace at night knowing that you're not setting a world record. You know, you are not the first person who's ever like tripped and fallen in public. So you will get up, you will recover. That being said, it's scary to get into things. It's scary to start things. It's scary to put yourself out there, like I've already said. I'm going to hit you guys with maybe some motivation, but I actually heard this in church. And the pastor was talking about saying that you can't do something. And like I told you guys last week, people say things that they don't even realize they say and how much power it has. This was not the point of what she was saying. This was just like a sideline piece that she added to aid her story. She said she was talking about her son, and she told her son maybe to do something, and her son said, "I can't." And she said, "Yes, you can." And he said, "No, I can't." She said, "Yes, you can. I promise you can, because you're physically able to, and there's nothing that says you can't do it. So it is only a matter of if you will or if you won't." I was sitting in that chair like, oh my gosh, this woman just rocked my world. Let me repeat that. It's never I can or I can't. It is always a matter of you will or you won't. I can or I can't is a cop-out, because you can. There's most likely, I'm not going to say certainly, there's most likely no physical, emotional limitation for you to physically not be able to do something. You can. You can do anything, really. If you think about it, you want to go skydive into a volcano, you can. Only once, but you can do it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a very exaggerated example, but you can do hard things. If you want to break up with that person, you can do it. You know, if you want to lose 20 pounds, you can do it. And so stop telling yourself you can't, because you can. What you're doing is you're making a conscious decision that you won't. And you've already failed. You have already failed yourself because you're not even giving yourself the option to try to win. So that one statement rocked my world. She said it about a month ago. It's not a matter of I can or I can't. It's a matter of if you will or you won't. I tell that to myself every single day. Every single day. I tell that to myself, and I'm just flabbergasted. And it helps me get up in the morning. Like I said, I'm studying for my course, so if I really don't want to study, I'll be like, you can. Like, ooh, a good one. I don't have time. I can't do it. I don't have time. There are 24 hours in a day. I promise you have time. I promise there's something that you're doing in your day to day that can be cut out and you can make time for it. without a shadow of a doubt, I know that there's something. I know that you doom scrolling on Instagram or TikTok for an hour at the end of your night is not productive and can be put off till the next day. And maybe instead of that, you can hit 10K steps, or you can take your butt to the gym, or you can send that text or make that call or see that friend. Texting someone takes 5 seconds out of your day, if that. And yes, I'm looking at you. Text them. I think this kind of brings me to my last point and my most important point. That's why I wanted to save it till the end. I don't know if my toe just showed in that. We are all capable of doing something great. We are all capable of doing something outstanding. Maybe that's not what I want to say. Let me bring it back to my first initial point. If you're doing something and someone is making you feel like you shouldn't do it, or you're feeling judged by what you're doing, or if you feel like you're just too much for this world, or maybe that boy or girl, depending on who's watching this. If you feel like you're too much, I want you to rest and hold fast to the point that there is someone out there who someone's watching you. People are always watching what you do. There's someone out there who is watching you, and something that you've done is something that they've waited for someone to do their whole lives. Something that you say could be something that someone's waited their whole lives to hear. You don't have to, it does not have to be oracular. You do not have to make some grandiose play out of life or production in everything that you do. It could be as simple as smiling at someone. If you really, really want to dumb it down, it could be as easily as smiling at someone. You don't know how long they've waited for someone to smile at them. I think it's a very big point that we all smile at each other. Something that you say, maybe you're in a room, and just like I was in church, like that one line, that wasn't the point of what she was saying. That was what she had said to her son, and the way that I had just told the story made it sound like that was the point of it. It tied into a bigger story. I feel like I'd been waiting, and I feel like we all know like we're capable of doing hard things, but I think it took that one quote for me to be like, wow, we are capable, and the only person stopping us is ourselves. 99.99999% of the time, we are our worst enemies because we're scared of what other people are going to say. And other people might know what's right for us. And how the hell is someone going to know what's right for us? Only we can know what's right for us. So I'm not going to stop doing this because now I've started. And I hold fast to, and I take a lot of pride, and I have a lot of hope in the fact that something I do, something that I say on here, is going to be something that someone's waited their whole life to hear. And if that's one person out of, I don't know how many this could end up being, but if that's one person out of all of you guys, I've done my job, and I can sleep at night, and that will make my whole life, knowing that I touched someone and I was able to inspire them to see something in themselves that wasn't there before, or that was always there but they were unable to see it. So with that, please guys, go out, take a leap of faith on yourself, try something new. If you're wanting to get involved in your community and you might be the only one to do it, or if you want to try the run club but none of your friends want to do it with you, go and do it. Who is to stop you from running with people? You're there to make friends. And I said this to my friend the other day. She was in a new area, wanted to go to a run club, and she texted me. She's like, I want to make friends, but I don't have any friends to go to this run club with. It's like saying, like, I need a car to go to work, but I need to work so I can afford the car to go to work. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get caught in this constant cycle. You know what I mean? So, like, go put yourself out there. What's the worst that can happen? Go put out a song. If you feel it on your heart that you want to sing and you've got a passion to do it, and you've been scared and you needed this to be your sign to go do it, let this be your sign. Go and do it. Move. go try something, sing, explore, travel, work out, talk to that person, make the first move. I don't know. I'm probably not going to make the first move. So, but my point being, if you fail, at least you tried. If you fumble, you haven't failed yet. You know? You haven't failed yet, you know? So, it's okay. It's not over. Your life is not going to end because you tried something and you maybe embarrassed yourself. And people, if they're good people and if they're people that you should be surrounding yourself with in life, they aren't going to judge you off of what you didn't succeed in. If anything, they will only admire the leap of faith that you took on yourself and how you got up from what you did not succeed in. Take that into consideration. Look around you. Who do you surround yourself with? Are those people holding you back from doing something? Why maybe, actually, I'm going to go further with this. Look around to your friend group. And if you want to do something and you're nervous about doing it based off of the judgment and reaction of what you're going to get, ask yourself what kind of friends you keep around yourself. Because I don't want to keep people close to me that I would feel judged from for doing something that is I'm passionate about. Why would I ever want to feel insecure or embarrassed by what I would call my friends? Because those other people, the strangers, they ultimately don't matter because you're never going to talk to them. At least that's how I see it. I'm never going to see, if I'm in public and I want to do something, I'm not going to see 90% of those people again. I'm going to do it. Same rules apply for anything. Anyone that's outside of your immediate friend group or the immediate people that you're talking to, those opinions shouldn't matter because they're not going to be known and they might make them known in a negative way. Kick rocks. Go kick rocks. Where were you when I did something great? Why aren't you celebrating me now? And I'm doing something great now, so start celebrating. I'm talking about your friends and your inner group. If your inner group is what you're most insecure about, you need a better friend group. Your inner friends should be your biggest supporters. I am so lucky. I am so lucky that I wasn't scared to put out this podcast because I know that my friends were going to support me regardless. My closest friends, the ones that I know that I can pick up the phone and I can call at any given time of the day and they're going to answer. If they don't answer, they'll call me back. I know how the world works. I'm so happy that I have that. I have been so thankful, and I'm actually going to take this moment to thank you guys. I have received nothing but just love and support for me putting out this podcast, and that warms my heart, and it's coming from people that I honestly, like, I didn't even expect to, like, care. And I see that, like, the follows coming in on my podcast page, and I'm just like, if my jaw wasn't attached to my head, it would be on the floor because I'm just so shocked that some of you guys even care enough to, like, follow the account to hear what I have to say. You care enough to at least, like, put your ear out, you know? And that is, like, that means the world. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you guys enough because, like, I was gonna do this regardless, even if I had 4 followers. So having almost 100, and I know that's no small feat. 100 people is 100 people. So that's crazy. I couldn't even fit maybe like 100 people in my living room. I know I can't fit 100 people in my living room. So that's a lot of people, and that would take at least 20 cars. And that's the way my brain works to, like, visualize how many people is 100 people. Like, I need 20 cars to shuttle around 100 people. So, point being, thank you guys so much for your support and just following me. And I really hope you got something from this week's topic of conversation. I hope that I was able maybe to inspire you a little bit to maybe not pull the trigger on something you've been wanting to do, but at least put another thought into it. That is all of the same. Progress is never linear, and small steps in the right direction are better than big steps in the wrong direction. So I am so thankful. Thank you guys for coming. Here in the backseat of my car, and I promise we're going to get a little bit more lighthearted, but I really felt it heavy on my heart that I shared that with you guys today. So have a great week. I'm filming this on a Monday, so we're starting the week off right. I don't know when this is going to get posted. We can post it on a Monday. So happy Monday, y'all. And if it's not posted on a Monday, then we can all laugh about the fact that I really thought I was going to make this on a Monday. So anyway, have such a great rest of your week, great rest of your day. Go do something that fills your cup up, whatever that may be. You always have time to do something that you love to do. Like, go get your nails done, go buy that coffee, go for a walk, go to the gym, go read the book, go hug your loved ones, go call your mothers, go call your mom, okay? Go call her, tell you love her. She loves you tremendously. Or call your dads. I don't know your family issues. Go call your dad, go call your mom, go call your grandma, grandpa, legal guardian, sister, brother, special loved ones. Go call them, tell them friends. I don't know what you're going through. We will be back next week, most likely with a guest. So get excited for that. Okay, love you guys. Bye.